this issue of Flash's Mark Waid, or Flash's Mark Waid, Mark Waid's The Flash, is actually not an issue of The Flash, bizarrely. It is an issue of Green Lantern. It's Green Lantern issue 30, which is written by Gerard Jones with Mark Waid. It's a crossover that spans 2 issues of both, so it's a 4-parter. Unfortunately, Gerard Jones, if you don't know why it's unfortunate we have to read an issue by him, just look up his Wikipedia page and discover.
You'll very quickly realize there's a reason DC tries not to reprint anything of his if they can help it anymore. Obviously, this is kind of essential for this book. Yeah,
they'd actually started reprinting his run on Green Lantern. They got volume 1 of it out in the same way that they'd done like all these other volumes of these other writers' runs, and then the news broke of what he'd done, and all of a sudden those just dried up and there was no more. And I can't really blame them, but
yeah, to the point where I actually had to go and get Mark Waid's Flash Volume 2 on Comixology, because they do not put those issues of Green Lantern up on DC Universe.
Yeah, that is interesting. They're not even on there.
Because the files are obviously available, like digital. Yeah. They've got them here. They're just actively choosing not to promote them, even these crossover issues.
That's very interesting. They've basically Chris Benoit them. That's a reference you won't get, but the people know.
I'll take your word for it.
So this is the start of a story called Guerrilla Warfare. So obviously we're getting some Grodd shenanigans.
Yep.
In here, and it's not a bad issue actually, in setting up kind of this crossover. Obviously, it's not Mark Waid as the lead writer on this issue, and I don't, because it's Grodd, I assume Wade's probably the one who plotted the story more so.
Probably. He's labelled, he's credited officially in the credits as a plot assist.
Yes. But I don't know if that's like, is it going to be the exact same, just swapped for the issue of the Flash we get next time, where it's the same thing, but just with the writer swapped. Because obviously one's their book and one's the others. So basically Flash and Green Lantern are both at this castle, setting up the headquarters of Justice League of Europe. Everyone remembers Justice League of Europe, right? The JLE.
Hey. Some great stuff in that era.
Yeah, that came after the international stuff.
It's kind of part of that whole era. Okay. Yeah, it. I think it swaps into Europe about, I don't know, 30 odd or so issues in.
Yeah. Okay. So they're setting up this headquarters, and Flash gets called away. Green Lantern saves some delivery or some moving people, the movers. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're carrying boxes. They're doing box.
Yeah, I was just kind of waiting for you to stumble around, figure out the phrase you'd like to use.
But we cut to Gorilla City, and we see that there's kind of this growing tensions, but there's clearly some supporters of Grodd, and Grodd's been getting messages. He's been playing chess via letters with someone. And it turns out this person that he's been playing chess with is Hector Hammond, because of course that can be a bad pairing.
Yes, hence the Green Lantern crossover.
Of course, yes. That ties it in with the Green Lantern's side of things. But of course, it's like, okay, it's time to actually make his outbreak. So we have him making his escape, and he's got his followers, and they're waging war. And Gorilla City, like, okay, we need the Flash. Someone contact the Flash. He left us that thing to contact him on. And in the Flash Museum, this old radio, so I was like, hey, Flash, please help, it's Gorilla City, yada, yada, yada. And of course, they don't even know Barry's gone. Like, Gorilla City's expecting Barry Allen, the Flash, to show up. And we have this thing here where Wally, hears the phone ringing as he's, because the people at the museum phone Wally. And he's running out of the house, and he hears the phone, and he's like, if it's important, they'll call back. He just kind of goes.
Yeah, it's not enough time to answer the phone. Wonder if it's important.
Not enough time? You're the Flash.
Yeah. He goes, the machine will pick it up. I'm like...
Yeah. I will say this. The funny thing about Waid's run on Flash so far is that Wally is a little bit of a dick at times. Not like in a super way, but just there's little things here or there.
It's very much in keeping with how his character was at the time. We mentioned JLE there. I've read a large portion of that period of Justice League, and Wally's in and out of those books, and yeah, he's kind of a dick throughout a lot of that.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how that develops over time. But yeah, so they get to the headquarters, and they get to contact Green Lantern, and Green Lantern's like, hey, Barry told me about these things, and well, if they can't get Wally, I'm probably the next best one to go and figure this out. And we see that Grodd's whole plan is to get the third part of the ancient meteorite that led to the development of Gorilla City, but also Hector Hammond found the other part that made him what he is. So they want the third part to ascend and take over the planet, because that's what people do. Green Lantern goes to the Flash Museum to find out what's going on, and he's then taken to a secret.
I love this whole bit.
Of course you do. He's taken to Washington, where they get to a secret department with enhanced animals, which includes, of course, Bobo, Detective Chimp.
Detective Chimp. He's the chief investigator.
Yeah, he's
in charge of the department.
Yeah, he's got an office in the back. He's
the Bureau of Amplified Animals.
There you go. And so Green Lantern ends up taking this talking dog, Rex the Wonder Dog, with his human, because the human, he has to like sort of talk through the human. He can't just talk directly. And so he takes them in a green little, I don't even know what he makes, like a little chair for them, I guess. So it's what it looks like. It looks like the little pod you would sit in at like an arcade ride or something like that. Not a Dodgem. Not quite a Dodgem, I'd say, but like something like that.
Yeah, I can see it. It looks like one of those inflatable chairs that you can kind of get for outside.
Oh yeah, I could see that too. Maybe one for the pool, actually.
That's the green though. Yeah. Maybe that's the green that's giving me that impression.
Because I feel like one that you would just sit in the ground with wouldn't have the front bit for the dog to have his paws up on. Whereas one for a pool, I could see that having the raised.
I can definitely buy it.
I didn't expect to be discussing this detail so much, but they go to Gorilla City, and then the cliffhanger is that Green Lantern's going through the jungle looking for this secret city that he's never been to. There's like a whoosh past them, and the final cliffhanger is that Wally's already there, and they both say at the same time, "What are you doing here?" So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the Flash issue that we read next time is going to explain Wally's side of the story and how he gets here.
Yeah, I think from context, because there's the kind of, the note at the end that's like next time, yada yada yada. It actually says find out in Flash 69 on sale now. So I think that's in answer to that question of what are you doing here. So in the next issue, they came out on the same day. The idea being you can really actually read either of these first and it'll function. And then the next two issues will be the actual follow-up.
Interesting though, they chose this one to go first in the trade though, and I wonder if that's because this one maybe explains more of the main story more than maybe the Flash issue does.
It could be. It could also be a case of that maybe the next issue of Green Lantern is very clearly part 3. If these are 1 and 2, but it doesn't really matter, but that is definitively the next part. Maybe it's just so you don't have 2 Green Lantern issues back to back. You can just break them up easier that way.
Yeah. So as far as the quality of the issue, it's alright. It's not bad. I'm looking forward to reading more of it. I think it doesn't feel up to the standards as like the best Mark Waid issues yet. I'm thinking the Abracadabra stuff. I'm thinking the Year One stuff. Obviously, it doesn't feel like it doesn't quite have that voice. I guess it's definitely someone else's voice writing this.
Oh, definitely. I think I really like the plot and the ideas that's going on here, like the introducing, Grodd and Hector is kind of fun. I love the Bureau of Amplified Animals and Bobo kind of running that.
Yeah, although it is worth mentioning the covers, like the next one does say part 2 of 4. Like the covers clearly indicate.
Yeah, they did, but I guess they just kind of made it friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it works both ways, but clearly the Green Lantern issue was, at least even at the time, printed to be, this is intentionally the first one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to tell you now, I'm just taking a little sneak peek ahead to the very first page of the Flash issue, and it's Wally helping with the moving again. So it is very much just rewinding back and following his side of it.
Yeah, but you put a number on it. That's it. That's the order.
That's true.
Just how it is. But yeah, it wasn't a bad read by any means. The art is obviously not the same artist. It's not the Rock who we've had on most of the issues from Waid. Definitely, I'd say a step down. It didn't have, because again, that has such a, and maybe it's just because we've been getting issues and issues of that, but I think the pacing and the action and the movement from LaRock is so good. And maybe the next issue is him.
I think it's a frustrating comparison in the sense that I think the art in this issue definitely suffers anytime we're doing Flash things, because of it hasn't got that flow to it for the Flash. But I think when it's doing Green Lantern things, it's really good. And if this is your regular Green Lantern artist, that's probably a good thing overall.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, what are you giving it then? What are you rating it?
I'm still going to give it a solid 7, I think, just about. A couple of nice lines of dialogue whenever Wally wasn't there, usually. And some really nice ideas, and I'm kind of interested in the story.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see where they go with this. It's an interesting idea having these two villains team up, even though we've not seen Hammond yet, but I'm assuming we're going to see him in the Flash issue. Which is a fun idea in of itself, that they sort of swapped. You know, you get the Grodd introduction in this issue, you get the Hammond introduction in the Flash issue.
It makes it feel like a genuine crossover rather than just concurrent stories.
Yeah, no, for sure. It definitely feels like, once we've had the second issue out of the way, we're going to be them teaming up because they're in the same plot. Like, at that point, that's what they are. So, yeah, no, I agree with the 7. I think it's solid. Sort of fun comic book fare. Some character beats, you know. And I like the ideas of, like, the gorillas expecting Barry Allen still to be there. They don't even know that Barry Allen's gone. They're expecting the original Flash. Well, not the original, but you know what I mean.
Their Flash.
Their Flash.